Ready.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Should we just start?
I think so.
Okay, I'm Stan,
Hi, I'm Donna.
and we are Mod, just the two of us.
It's very glary. We're on a pan in the middle of the Northern Cape somewhere. So the sun is very bright.
And we've been on the road for about 5 weeks, so we're a little bit dusty. So is Jim. And we often get questions about how we fit everything to survive on the road for 5 weeks into this. And we're going to tell you. Tell us about Mod quickly.
So we got our Jimny 7 years ago now. And we went on a trip in 2021. We went for 2 months to Namibia. And as we were traveling, we were just like, if only we had this, if only we had that. And when we got back from the trip, we decided, okay, we're going to look for all the things that were missing. But we couldn't really find anything that was appropriate size for the Jimny because everything was made for these big 4x4s and we needed something for a small 4x4. And
So we thought we'd make it.
yes. So it started with kind of hand stitching a few things and
Making a few things for ourselves.
yes.
And then I guess some people saw a few things and said, where did you get that?
And also we thought, like, if we're having these problems, other people must be having these problems too.
So now we make a whole range of stuff specifically for the Jimny 3 and 4. And it's all about making your Jimny more practical, more
Yeah, practical to travel with. Like, so making the small space as useful as possible.
and we only make stuff that we want to use. So we don't make tire covers, for instance.
Sorry.
Not sorry.
To anyone that wants a tire cover.
Okay, let's get out of the glare
Yeah.
and we'll show you how it all goes into that guy.
Jim.
Was that really cringy or really good?
I don't know.
Where do we start? At the front? Okay. This is our hidden winch mount. We always really loved the way the Jimny looked with its original bumper. And we always really wanted a winch because we travel alone, and if you get into some kind of trouble, this is the best way to get yourself out of it. But we didn't want to get a steel aftermarket bumper. There are lots of options out there. Some of them are cool looking, but the reality is they add a lot of weight to the front of your Jimny, and it kind of spoils the cool factory look of it. So I was looking at the space behind the bumper, and I realized that there's a big cavity there where you could easily fit a winch. So we designed our hidden winch mount that enables you to have your winch permanently mounted inside your original bumper. Involves almost no modification. All you do is you remove the bumper and you fit our bracket into this area between the two chassis arms, and it bolts on. A couple of little holes you have to cut in your bumper, and there you go. A way to get yourself out of trouble on the road. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is one of our early products. We call it the engine bay mount. It's a bit dusty in here, but can I have a look? This is our compressor. It's a 72-litre compressor. Perfect size for a Jimny because it doesn't have huge tires, so you don't need such a big compressor. And we mounted it inside this old bag initially just to keep the dust off it. We never thought it would survive this long, but it's been in here for 3 or 4 years already. And you can see our compressor's in pretty good shape. So basically what our bracket does, you can see it down there, it removes the water bottle washer, the washer water bottle from over here to over there. It gives you a little cavity here where you can mount your compressor. Permanently attached to the battery, so it's always ready to go. A lot of people hate deflating their tires because they have to reinflate them, which means you have to dig out your compressor from somewhere inside your car. It's a hassle, which is why we came up with this thing, because we also hated doing that. And because of this always being handy, we don't worry about deflating our tires because we know it's easy to reinflate which makes sure that you don't get stuck in sand because you deflate at the right times. The car is more capable on rocky conditions because you're at the right tire pressure. And you know, even if you get a flat tire somewhere, it's a good way to just quickly reinflate. So we make this for the Jimny 3 and the Jimny 4 because that's a challenge we all face. And it's probably one of our products we use the most when we're doing like long distance driving through Namibia and stuff. By the way, 1600 engine, highly recommended. We don't make that, but you can get one. This is our mod roof rack. We designed this because we had another roof rack before, and it was really high off the roof of the car, which we didn't like. And the version of the roof rack that was initially available only allowed for you to put a tent or cargo. So we designed this roof rack that works specifically with a rooftop tent if you have one of these fold out ones, and still allows you to have some cargo on the back. Now the cool feature about this thing is, firstly, it's like low profile, so it's quite close to the roof, which means there's less drag and less noise on the road. But for us, because we use Jim to travel long distance a lot, but every now and then we don't want to take our rooftop tent along, you basically undo these bolts here and you can lift the tent off. We hang ours on our roof where we store Jim, and then we have a second set of these slats that you can attach for when you're driving around the city, or if you need to carry a surfboard or a ladder or whatever the case may be. So in here's our rooftop tent. In here we keep our duvet and pillows because space is at a premium, as you know. And in here we also have a tarp, like a huge tarp for making shade or windshield or ground sheet if we need to, and also 2 extendable poles for doing various versions of the tarp setup as we need it. In the back here we have this silver aluminium box that houses a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so in here we have all our stickers, because we don't like to stick stickers on Jim, but this is kind of a little memory lane of places we've been to and things we've done. And in here we have our grid with attached legs. We have our, what do you call these things? We call them clompers because they make a clompy noise. This is called the bag of tricks. In here, everything from a washing line to extra cam buckle straps to a sewing kit. I don't know what's in here, a lot of stuff. But whenever there's trouble, this guy comes out. Hammock, gotta have one. This here is our winch strap. It's like a tree protector strap, but it's a long one in case you are far away from something you need to winch yourself out with. This is our 10 litre MSR shower bag. It comes with like a nozzle thing, so you can put water in here, hot water like we do, hang it up and you have a shower. Very handy. Okay, fishing stuff. We're not really fishermen or fisherwomen, but we do fish occasionally, or try to. It's cool to have. In here is a 25 litre fuel bag that we've never used, but we keep it in case we run into a situation where our extra 40 litres of fuel run out or would run out, and then we have the option to fill this guy up. We've never used it, but good to have. Gas cooker top and piece of foil as a windshield, gotta have. Tire repair kit, pots and pans, including a Dutch oven, which is the most awesome recent discovery, to make bread and to basically have an oven on the road. Put coals underneath, put coals on top. It's a very cool thing. Fire lighters we never ever use because we try and make fire old school way. And some tin foil that we also never use because we have the Dutch oven, which is a much better way to make potatoes in the fire. Okay, on this side we have a box of firewood because you always need firewood. This is one of the things we haven't made into a product yet. It's basically just, I had a friend make this little cover that covers your wood for if you're driving in rain. And here we have enough firewood for a couple of days. Okay, back to where. Just want to show you this. This is also one of our products. We call these tread plates. I realized that I was always standing on the bumper and I didn't want to damage it. So we made these plates for here, so you can step on there without damaging your bumper. Another thing about Jimnys, a lot of people want to, or they do, add ladders to them. Which is a bit silly considering how very short they are. The bumper is a perfect height to stand on to get into something like this, or even the tires on the side. So if you think about it, if you were on a ladder, if you went any higher, where would you be going? This is one of the first products that we started designing as a concept. It was pretty difficult to make since the Jimny doesn't have any, or the Jimny 3 doesn't have any opportunity to mount stuff here. So it was quite difficult to design and conceptualize. But basically this is called the rear door mount, and it allows you to mount like anything on the back here up to 10 kilograms. We mount our gas here and it kind of lives here permanently while we travel. I even cook on here with the door open. I make coffee on it every morning because it's not necessary to remove it. We haven't taken it off once this entire trip. So when you buy yourself a mod rear door mount, you come look over here, it comes with this chock to make sure that the bottle can sit here securely. But you can also buy a bracket from us that allows you to carry 10 liters of fuel on the back here. We haven't launched that yet, it's still coming, but it'll be available soon. We prefer to keep our gas here because we keep our fuel elsewhere. We also make this for the Jimny 4. And same story, you can mount your gas or 10 liters of fuel in the back here. And super simple to install, just like this one. Basically you remove the spare tire and the bracket that the spare tire sits on. And this, in this case, slides on here and bolts to the car, or in case of the Jimny 4, just bolts onto the original hinge mount. The reason this is a good place to carry extra weight is because it's close to the hinges. So you'll hear often people have trouble when they carry stuff on the back door that the door starts sagging or become loose. And that's because of the levering effect of weight further away from the hinges. The further away you put weight from the hinges, the stronger that levering effect. So as close to the hinges as possible is the best place to carry extra weight. Hence the rear door mount enabling you to carry stuff right here by the hinges. So we haven't told you that much about Jim yet. When we got him about 7 years ago, he had a 1300 engine, no lift kit and factory wheels. At some point we had some problems with the engine, nothing major, but we took that as an opportunity, a sign to upgrade to a bigger engine, and we got ourselves a 1600 engine, which we've had for about 150,000 k's already. It was a really worthwhile upgrade. It wasn't expensive compared to, I don't know, upgrading a Land Cruiser engine, for instance. Then we have like a few bits to protect Jim underneath. Basically only really radius arm cup protectors. Those often get bashed up if you're doing a little bit of forward driving by rocks, and they're not made of the strongest steel, so they can bend. So we decided to protect that. But the rest of Jim underneath is actually standard. Then we have like I think it's a 50mm lift kit. some upgraded springs and shocks, of course. And then for a while we had those steel wheels with the triangles that a lot of old buckies and taxis have. We love the look of those, but the truth about those, they weren't very good quality, unfortunately. They're kind of basically trailer wheels, what they call in the industry. And we were always having trouble with like wobbles at 75 to 80 kilometers per hour. You all know what I'm talking about. Then we upgraded to OG Samurai steel wheels, painted them white to match Jim. Not a wobble since. These are really good wheels to get, and they are available out there. They look similar to these new ones that you can buy from Suzuki directly, but I think these come from the old school Japanese factories. Suspension upgrades. Jim looks really good standing still and moving, I think. But one thing I forgot to mention is we also added wheel spacers to widen his footprint a little bit, which also stabilizes him. And whenever you're driving, like, you know, a lot of places in Botswana where there's lots of huge Land Cruisers and those kinds of vehicles, they have a very wide footprint. So often you'll find the Jimny kind of wobble in between the tracks, trying to find its footing. With some wheel spacers, I think these are 3 centimeters, or maybe they're weirdly in inches, wheel spacers, and it just widens that footprint so you sit a little bit better on a tweespoor, but it also stabilizes the ride a little bit, which is a great extra feature of them.
Okay, so
You're on.
okay, so I'm going to show you what we've got on the inside of Jim to make him more practical for traveling, especially for long distance, but also for if you just have him around the city. So inside here on the passenger side, we've got the dash pouch. This was also one of the first products that we designed for the Jimny, because this space basically just was calling for a little bag. You put something in there and stuff just slides around, and if you're off-roading, then it basically just falls to your feet. So a bag here makes a lot of sense. Then while we were traveling, I was mostly making patkos, which is like road food snacks, some sandwiches and stuff, and I always needed a place to put something. So I'd end up sitting here with like a jar of jam between my feet, trying to not let it spill and trying to figure out where to put a chopping board or a slice of bread. And so we came up with the dash shelf. Wouldn't say it's the most practical little shelf or necessarily the safest, but it's very useful. Okay, so on the passenger side as well, we keep 2 solar lights. They just charge while we're driving. In the side here, I've got a set of gloves. I use those are my gloves. I use those to pack a road if we're off-roading, or to like move rocks and pick up thorny branches or move branches away and stuff. And I've got a Jimny sized dustpan and scoop. That lives in there. Then next to my seat, I've got the shovel, the spade. Can't remember which one it is. A shovel/spade. Don't really keep that much in the cubby hole. This is more like, this was one of our older mod products, which we don't really make anymore. It's called the triangle bag, but we keep it in here for a couple of storage things, some easy access sunscreen and that sort of thing. In the dash pouch, we've put a power point over here, so it's a USB point, so I can charge my phone while we're driving, and I just keep sunscreen in here and little bits. What's in here? A sticker. Let's go, Kablio. And thing we can't live without, B-bomb. Okay, then between the seats over there, is the cups holder. Very useful, especially in the Jimny 3, where the cups holders just are completely useless. What we use in the space of where the cups holder was is the caddy box. So in our caddy box here, we've got our cameras. Stan's camera in the back, mine in the front, and attached to the front of this is our binoculars. I mean, when you're driving around, you need easy access to your binoculars. Ours have a secret little product on it called, what do we call these? The binocs blocks. They basically block out the sun. Very useful. And then on the back of the caddy box, we have our water bottle pouch. Right now it's not attached. I'll explain that story just now. But this is the water bottle pouch, and it basically clips onto the back of the caddy box. And we really love the big Nalgene bottles. They're very useful for traveling as extra water storage. So we wanted a water bottle pouch that was big enough to hold this, but that we could also possibly go hiking with. So we designed this so that you can just easily clip it off. It's storage and hiking, so it does two jobs in one. Jimny needs that always. So you basically clip on the crossbody strap, take it hiking. We keep our crossbody straps here in the secret compartment underneath the caddy box pouch. And that just slides on. So if you were keeping, I don't know, if we were parked somewhere that we didn't feel was very safe or something like that, then we'd maybe like pop that caddy box pouch out and take it inside with us, and then we've got our cameras with us. Okay, behind my seat, I am old school. I like to read an actual book. So I keep a little store of books in here, as you can see. And then we keep some wet wipes, an extra grocery bag, and a little pouch which has all of our other lights. It's easy access just behind the seat. And then I keep my very special Scorp torch here. So this basically I got for my birthday last year. Stan bought it for me, and it's got a UV light so we can check out all the Scorps whenever we get to a campsite. We've seen a lot this trip actually. Underneath the seat I keep a bag with a pair of hiking boots and the Good Luck Hospital, which is basically our first aid kit. So that's also easy access there. You'll also notice this extremely attractive anti-sway bar. Day 2? So on day 2, we heard a strange noise on one of the 4x4 tracks that we were on. And this happened to us before, but basically our anti-sway bar cracked and broke off the axle on one side. So there was like a weak point there. It cracked at the weak point, broke, and instead of, long story, but basically we got it welded by a guy called Big Show, and then it broke again. And so then we just removed it. And surprisingly, Jim, he is really good without it. You just kind of sway a bit more. So it's back there right now, waiting to be welded back on, I think. Also behind our seats, we keep our jerry cans. 20-litre jerry can behind both the passenger and the driver's seat. This is a contentious place to keep jerry cans because people think it's going to smell like petrol and it's dangerous and. But ultimately, you've got to work with what you've got. We've got a Jimny, and we believe that keeping the liquid weight as low as possible and as centered between the two axles as possible is the best place to keep liquid weight. So that's where we keep our water, which we'll show you in a bit, and our fuel. We fill the jerry cans when we need to, and we keep them empty as much as possible. But we're also quite vigilant with when the petrol attendants fill the jerry cans, so we make sure that they don't spill. And we've never had an issue with any of the jerry cans behind there. We make sure the seals are properly sealed and closing properly, and it's never been a problem. Okay, I'm gonna go to the driver's side. Which has all sorts of other things going on. First thing is the headroom. The headroom is super useful. Like, we use it without, I think, realizing that we're using it. So it takes 4 pairs of glasses, as you can see up here, and a feather. And ultimately, yeah, we just keep our reading glasses and our sunglasses there. And then we have this, which isn't a product. It's complicated to install something here, so we decided not to create a product here, which is why we came up with a headroom over here. But in this little pouch, we keep a little toolkit. And what else? That's it. So that's the toolkit. Another thing that we kind of get asked about quite a lot is where we keep our phones, or a phone holder and that sort of thing. We have this contraption that we came up with. It's not ideal, but it works for us. We've just kind of screwed into the body there, and it works. It helps us keep on track on the map mostly. Then we've also got this product, which is quite new. This is the first trip it's gone on. It's called the MadMan engine monitoring system. So this helps us keep track of gearbox oil temperature and oil levels and coolant temperature and our battery voltage. Because the Jimny 3 system is not as sophisticated as the Jimny 4, this is an additional system that you can add to monitor all that sort of stuff. So it's a South African company, makes really all sorts of sensors that they haven't launched a Jimny one yet, so we're busy working with them to launch it. But basically this just helps us keep track, especially when we're doing a lot of long days of 4x4ing on like maybe heavy sandy roads and that sort of thing. Okay, then you want to come around here. I don't know if you can see into the footwell here, but here we've got a anywhere pouch. It was initially called a seat pouch because we designed it to go here, and then we realized that everyone was basically just using it wherever, and it's a really practical size to fit things like, Stan, what do you have in here? So Stan's got film for his camera, keeps our passports here, and his iPad, some chargers. What else? iPad. I think you've got your keypad in here as well. So what's nice about the Anywhere pouch here is that it doesn't actually get in the way of your legs at all. No matter how far forward or back you put the seat. Over here we've got pepper spray. Nifty little place to have it if you remember that you have it. And then next to the seat on this side, I don't know if you want to come around. Welcome to the other side. So next to the seat on this side is an axe, also useful in emergency situations. And Stan just made this little Leatherman cover on this trip. He always likes to have a project to do when we go away. So Leatherman cover. An extra bag, a lappy or a cloth in normal English, and another little hiking bag, which is the tiniest backpack that ever did exist. Seat. So from the front we can access our chairs. It's 2 small chairs. I'm going to actually show you how to do that because it's easier from the front than from the back. So you just lift the Anywhere pouch up and pull chairs out. These are amazing chairs. We get asked about them all the time. Although this morning someone did say that they were kids' chairs, but they're not. They're very adult chairs and very comfortable. Light and micro for a Jimny sized chair. Okay, so back to behind the seat. In the side pocket, we've got a tire pressure gauge for deflation. Another one of Stan's projects with the Anywhere pouch in black. He's put some molly straps on the back of the headrest cover and strapped the Anywhere pouch onto here. And I think you have basically just your sewing kit to make this in here, as well as swimming towels. Yeah, swimming towels and a couple of other bits and bobs, nothing too interesting. In the back seat pouch, we've got our duster, which goes with us everywhere thanks to Botswana's evil dust. So we came up with this product because we went to Botswana during dry season. And when you go on the pans or in the riverbeds there's this really, really fine like black dust that just goes everywhere and gets in everywhere. When we came back from the trip, we were like, we need something that just gets rid of that dust. And so the dust was born. Also in the back pouch here is our water purifying kit. Everyone has a version of this. We use a UV torch type thing. It's called a
SteriPen.
It's called a SteriPen. And then Stan keeps an extra pair of hiking boots in the back there. Okay, so I just got told that there's actually very interesting things in the Anywhere pouch behind Stan's headrest. His shaver, electric shaver, because when you're on the road for 5 weeks, then, you need to shave, as well as vernier caliper to like measure anything when the ideas strike for a new product. So sorry about that. Anyway, continuing the tour. Yeah, let's start here. So I think this is, we often get asked what our favorite and most useful product is. It's very difficult for us to choose because we use pretty much everything we design all the time, because it's also great. But I think the rear door table for the Jimny 3 specifically is one of the most useful and used products. Whenever we stop for lunch, whenever we're making dinner, when we're making coffee in the morning, this is the product we use. It's also because of the plastic molded door card thing on the back of the Jimny 3 door. A rear door table wasn't like an easy solution. And so coming up with something that worked in this little space, I think was really good. So pops open like this. Super stable. Works with a plate behind the door. So when you're doing the installation, you have to take the door card off. And then there's an aluminium like template plate that goes behind there that basically mounts the hinges, the brackets too, and that creates the stability here. On our rear door, we also have, just behind the saw here, you can see our StrapOnz, which were originally designed to actually go onto a bicycle and to kind of like help bike packing and carrying stuff on your bicycle frame. But we realized they can pretty much go anywhere. They're very underrated, I think. They can really be used for anywhere, and I don't think that people realize that they can actually do a lot with that. So that's a saw, and then this is one of our new products. I'm going to just close here to show you. This is called, what is it called? The water bottle slide. So behind the water bottle pouch is our water bottle slide, which is just a little bracket ultimately that comes with this tensioner, and same system as the Caddy Box. We basically use the molly straps at the back of the water bottle pouch here, as well as the bungee tensioner, to create a place. You hook it on like that. You basically create a place to put anything. We use it for an extra pair of cooking gloves, which are looking like they might need replacing. So when we're traveling, we put those in there, and then when we're making dinner and these are actually being used, we put, like, I don't know, a bottle of olive oil or some utensils or whatever it is that just you need to put somewhere. We use that for that. That's spongy.
Hang on. In the headroom, so they don't get lost. Okay, so back of gym, a really important space. This is basically the cavity where everything that you need to take with you has to go into. And of course, there's normally back seats in here. We don't need back seats, we remove them. And if you're only 2 people, we suggest you do the same and buy yourself the mod base. Can't really see it because there's a whole lot of stuff in here at the moment. But at the very bottom here, you'll see this yellow thing sticking out here. That's the handle of the mod base. It basically replaces the back seats with a flat area that's hinged. So you have all the potential space here to pack all your stuff you're traveling with, but the hinge allows you to open the base and you still have access to the cavity underneath. It's not huge, but it's big enough to store things like some extra wheel bearings, air filter, a whole lot of tools, tube. There's a whole lot of stuff under there that it's obviously not super accessible, but if you get into trouble, you have it with you, and that's very handy. Okay, I'm quickly going to talk you through the back of gym here. This is what gym normally looks like when we're traveling. This here, my bag, is clothing. Obviously, when we're cooking and stuff at night, it doesn't go here, it goes into the dressing room, which is basically my front seat. Lives over here. Here you can see, let me just go from the bottom. This is a cover that's not available to the general public. Something we made for our solar panels under here. It's basically a aluminium case that sits over our solar panels to protect them. This is one of our products. It's called the cargo tote. Voila. Inside we have stuff that's too tall to go into something like this kind of flat back bag. In here we have wine, milk, dates that we just bought at the Pink Pot stall in Carcamas. Flanagan's, need that. Assortment of gins and olive oil and bitters. Gotta have this, makes the shittest drink better. I'm gonna show you this. This is 5 weeks of trash, basically. Anything that we couldn't burn or get recycled on the road, like glass and aluminium, goes into here. This is generally called an EcoBrick, I believe. But basically, what you do is if you have a piece of plastic like Flanagan's packets or some weird little cheese thing, film wrapper, not sure what that was, basically like a time capsule. But basically we stuff everything into here. As you know, when you travel around, or even just where you live, trash, plastic is a huge problem. But if you can stuff it into something like this, it'll make sure that it doesn't blow around in the environment where you might accidentally drop it or throw it away hoping that it'll be recycled where it probably won't. So this is 5 weeks worth of stuff, and on this trip we had 2 friends join us for 2 weeks, and all their stuff also went into this. So you can pack an incredible amount of stuff into this, and we use one of these sticks to push it all down, and you can pack it so tightly it's like a brick almost. And in Cape Town there's this program where they actually build structures, houses and stuff out of these things, and we drop them off there. So this is a very good way to make sure that you keep track of your trash and don't accidentally lose it in a beautiful place like this, because when the wind blows here and you lose a chip packet, it'll be down there in no time and you'll never catch it. Get one of these. Rachel will thank you. Okay, this is embarrassing. We call them long-suffering sacrificial. It's the cloth that can do everything in the kitchen that you don't want to do with your hands or with your clean cloths. So everyone probably has one of these. Here we have our flat pack that basically keeps our cutlery, coffee, crockery, coffee making things, some rusk, strip waffles, also from the Pink Putt store, olive oil, stuff to clean, dishes, knives and things go in there. And this here is a prototype for a table we're working on. I'll show you just now. Actually, let me just take it out. Looks pretty cool. Pops open like this. Still figuring out how to tension the legs so it's not too wobbly. But basically this is the mod table prototype. So all the stuff that we have made, we've tested like this on trips, trying to figure out how to make it better or how to make it more practical. But if you come back here, you can see here we have our water tank. This is 40 liters of water, and there's a little pipe that comes out the side here. Oops, sorry, a bit of spillage there. And that goes through there. Basically you have your tap right here at the back where you need it in the kitchen. On top of the 40 liter water tank is what we call the pantry, because everything has to have a name, otherwise you don't know where stuff goes if you're trying to explain to someone where to find something. Tinned food, orzo, muesli, jam, Tony's chocolonely, lots of it. There's some more eggs. This is good chocolate, by the way. Get some if you can get your hands on it. In here is like peaceful sleep and stuff like that. Got to be handy. Toilet paper and some extra roller towel. Roller towel is super handy to have. There's a open roll around here somewhere. Actually, I think it's back in there. When you need to wash your dishes and you don't have a lot of water, it's a good idea to just wipe out all the greasy stuff and juices before you wash it. Then it's much easier to clean. And the piece of paper you can just burn in the fire. This is my old tent. It's a long story. It came with, our friends slept in it. So sometimes you got to make space for other stuff, like these books they gave us. Jimny's small, so finding a appropriate space to put something that you pick up on the road is not always so easy. But it's wrapped in some bubble wrap and some paper there, and hopefully we'll be safe until we get home. Under here is another mod product that never made it to the light of day, but that's basically our grains bag. In there we keep rice, bulgur wheat, flour for baking bread, stuff like that. And this is our trusty old fridge. Dometic 23 liters, not huge, but it's definitely Jimny size, big enough for us. And this little contraption on top we also made, not available to the general public. but it enables us to have a little workspace or storage space on top of the fridge. It had this weird like dome top, which is totally useless, so we added this. Space here on the side is pretty much open to allow some breathing room for the fridge, and we normally keep our fire extinguisher there. We forgot that at home, so we keep our extra dish towels there that we haven't used yet in this trip. I'm just going to take this out, put it on top here to show you. This is Donna's bag. This also comes out and goes to her dressing room, which is her front seat. Over there you'll see our battery. It's an EcoFlow Delta 2. It's the battery that we use at home basically during load shedding. If you don't know what load shedding is, you're very lucky. But in South Africa we have power cuts every now and then, and that powers some basic stuff in our house. We opted not to go for a whole solar system, solar panel system with batteries and inverters. We just used that thing because we realized that when we travel we needed a bigger battery than the one we had before. So that basically powers our fridge and charges all our stuff, and it's more than big enough to go off grid for days. And you can also charge it with these solar panels that we've never actually used because that thing is so big and our fridge is so small that it can power it for days. I think that's it. Oh no, not everything. Also, one of the very first things we made just ourselves for our first trip was this thing. It's called the cargo hammock. Basically, it gives you a space inside the roof cavity here to store stuff like extra blankets for when it gets cold, our towels, Donna's barber jacket, which is quite bulky, and if you can believe it, we also have a bicycle helmet in there at the moment. Another long story, a gift from our friends who visited us, and it needed to go somewhere. So what I'm getting at is there's a lot of space actually in this. And if you're looking out the rear view, out the rear window with the rear view mirror, it doesn't obstruct your view at all. Basically works like this. Here you can see our towels. There's the jacket. And you might have noticed our fishing rods in some of the previous shots. They're kind of on the side here, and the reels are in the cargo hammock as well. That little thing over there, that's called Evangeline. It's a weird little stuffed rhino thing that some lady sold to us. It's very cool. It's pretty weird though. Okay, so this goes in here. And you might have noticed this thing here. It's one of those things, people don't know they need this thing until you show them how this works. This is called the Mod Firestick. Look at the detail. Look at that. Very nicely made. Look at that detail. Basically what this is, it's not a flute. It's called a fire stick. And when you're making a fire, or if your fire starts to die, sometimes you have to go onto your knees to get it going again. Got smoke blowing in your face, you're bent over. This allows you to basically blow oxygen into the fire exactly where you need it. And it's difficult to explain how effective this is. This is actually very ancient technology. Like, I think when humans started making fire, they started hollowing out reeds and sticks to be able to do exactly this. We've just modernized it slightly with some beautiful powder coating and a few extras to make it look cool. But basically, you got to try one of these to really know how effective they are. Maybe we'll show you later when we make a fire. Right.
I think that's it.
That's Jim. That's our life on the road. It's getting cold now, so we're going to set up camp.
Sun setting. We're on Firestick, by the way. Amazing wild camping spot.
And we're going to do a time-lapse video to show you the tent and how we set it up.
That's it.
Thanks for watching all 45 minutes of this. Very long.
You don't know how long it's going to be.
I don't know, it feels like an hour and 45 minutes.
I'm going to start a fire.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pop the tent.
Oh, this one. Oh no, we need to... Was I even recording?